Salom, kamyu aham hin jumle?
Globasa is a constructed language published in 2019 by a linguist with the goal of making a truly international language that anyone can learn. It uses vocabulary balanced between being universal and from a wide variety of language families, while also using grammar that's both simple and expressive, allowing you to add only as much information as necessary and freely combine existing words to refer to new concepts. Like many other modern international auxiliary languages, every word is spelled as they're pronounced, and each letter represents a single sound. Globasa uses the Latin alphabet with no accent marks. The alphabet is as follows:
Aya, ibe, iche, ide, ella, ife, ige, ihe, iya, ije, ike, ile, ime, ine, oya, ipe, ire, ise, ite, uya, ive, iwe, ishe, iye, ize.
As you can tell, there are a few letters that are different from their English counterparts, most notably C being che and X being she. The sounds also aren't strict if you can't pronounce them exactly right. H can be pronounced he, even if the ideal sound is he. If you have trouble pronouncing two similar sounds differently, like se and ze, the vocabulary was chosen to avoid as many problematic minimal pairs as possible. Stress is put on the last syllable if the word ends in a consonant, and on the second to last syllable if it ends in a vowel. Single-syllable words are stressed unless they are prepositions, conjunctions, or particles. Globasa's word order is very detailed in the documentation, but for the most part, you can stick to English's word order for basic sentences and be fine. Adjectives come before nouns, adverbs can come before or after verbs, etc. The main exception is questions, which sometimes have word order switch in English but not in Globasa. Globasa is always subject-verb-object order, or SVO, so I'm a human would be mi sen insan. This is retained in questions, so if you wanted to ask, are you a human, it would be kam you sen insan, where kam is a yes-no question marker, and the rest of the sentence's word order is the same. This even applies to questions that aren't yes-no questions. In those cases, you arrange the sentence as you would phrase the answer, and add ke to whatever you're asking about. Yuhara ke hewan literally means, you have what animal? But in English, this would be translated to, what animal do you have? The answer would be something like, mi harap buao, which is the same word order as English, I have a dog. As you may have noticed, nouns in Globasa don't really have articles, and they also don't have a singular or plural form. Meow can mean a cat, cats, or even the cats. If it's necessary to specify, you can append an extra word to the beginning. Un means one, so you can say un meow to say one cat, and den meow to say that cat, which can be used to roughly translate a cat and the cat respectively. Plu means multiple, so you can say plu meow for the plural form or imply it with multi, many, or shosu, few. The mass majority of words in Globasa fall under one of two specific categories. One can be used as either a noun/verb, while the other can be used as an adjective/adverb. While meow only means cat as a noun, lala can mean either song or sing, and veloci can mean either quick or quickly. The difference can be distinguished based on word order. Mi lala lala is a funny sounding but correct way to say I sing a song, and mi veloci lala means I quickly sing a quick song. Obviously, you can make these sentences clearer to parse if you add something like a determiner. If you want to do more with verbs, there's a large selection of particles you can use to modify them. While I won't go over all of them, here's some important ones. Nun is a present tense particle. Mi nun yam pingo means I'm eating an apple. Le is a past tense particle. Mi le yam pingo means I ate an apple. Sha is a future tense particle. Mi sha yam pingo means I will eat an apple. Ja is a prefix that refers to something immediately adjacent. Mi jale yam means I just ate, while mi jasha yam means I'm about to eat. Na is the infinitive and is required when putting two verbs together. Misuki na yam pingo means I like to eat apples. Ger is a conditional marker, while am is the imperative marker. So, mi ger yam means I would eat, and am yam means eat as a command. No is the negation marker, which applies to everything including verbs. Mi le no yam means I did not eat. As you can tell, Globasa can do a lot by combining words, and this can also happen in a more literal sense. Almost any word in Globasa can be used in a compound word, with the base word put at the very end. If it's a commonly used word, you can put the words right next to each other, like exporta, which means export, by combining the words esh, out, and porta, carry. If it's not commonly used, it's preferred, but not required, to add a hyphen, like if I made up a species of apple cats called bingo meow. There are also many affixes, prefixes, and suffixes that you can add onto words. Some of these are exclusively affixes, like li, which turns a word to be an adjective relating to the base word. Musica means music, while musicali means musical, or musically. Meanwhile, a lot of affixes come from base words, but change meaning when used as an affix. Dai means big or great, while using it as a prefix makes it more like an intensifier. Hosh means happy, daihosh means ecstatic. Since prefixes often have a different form from the base word, it's recommended to think of them as separate words, even if they're related. There are also a lot of particles that you'll have to memorize if you want to learn Globasa seriously. They tend to be more restrictive in use than you might expect if you translate them directly from English. For example, the English word to has a few translations: na, chel, and tas. We already went over na, which is used for infinitives like to eat. Chel designates a goal or destination, meaning that it can be translated to or for. Mi idi chel kitabudom chel nadosho means I go to the library in order to read. Tas designates an indirect object. Mi gibe kitabu tas te means I give a book to them. An important particle to learn is fe, which is a flexible particle that can be translated roughly to at, in, for, or of, depending on the context. Felutuf means please, more literally meaning something like for kindness, and fefato means in fact. The last thing I'll cover are some particles necessary for compound sentences. Ki introduces a clause, like the word that in English. Desu problema sen ki tego de fikir means their problem is that they think too much. Who introduces a clause that modifies a noun, similar to that, who, or which in English. If the relative clause refers back to the noun, you must use the pronoun da, which doesn't have a good English equivalent. Misuki mumu hu yu okoda means I like the cow who you see. Notice how the existence of da allows the relative clause to stay SVO, unlike English. To wrap things up, let's read out a story in Globasa. This one is a translation of The Bear and the Two Travelers, available on the official website. Baru ji dua daoyen. Dua insan tonggo dao pas travelari, dan watu hu baru abruto pracu in etasu dao. Unte of daoyen veloci supraidi gel drevo, ji desangu intre shube. Alote oko ki te sha beatake. Fevolo de infragetti se gelgeo. Baru ata gelte, ji dente plasi sesunasa nerfe tesu ore. Ji denasa insan fe totalia. Mas fefini baru restate, koski nil baru yam mormaso. Jashali alodao yen infraidi of drevo ji, fe nahaha, deswal tasesu doste kubaru leliloga geto tastesu ore. Donyen jawabu. De legibe tasmi hi nasiha. Am nilwatu shinloi doste hu da restayu den watu hu hatari nerchu.